Have a look at this photo. A mum posted it online after an elderly couple refused to move from the seats that she'd reserved for her family on a busy train.
Yeah, the post by the unhappy mum has now sparked a debate about whether children should give up their seats for those who are elderly or less able to stand.
Well, joining us now is fitness expert and journalist Moran, a.k.a. the Green Goddess, of course.
In the pink today.
The pink goddess today, we like that, who says children should respect their elders and get up from their seats, and alongside is journalist and broadcaster Afua Adom, who insists her kids need to sit down. So you would have turfed that elderly couple out, would you?
Well, I think there's two different elements to this. So, first of all, in that instance, she'd paid for the ticket, she'd paid for the reserved seats, so she should be able to use the reserved seats that she has paid for. But I think on public transport, like someone in the Vox Pop said there, it can be quite hard to control children on public transport. Sometimes they've got huge school bags with PE kit and homework and all the rest of it. And buses and trains can be quite jerky and quite moving. Yes, they've got young legs, but they can be unsteady legs. I've had my daughter get her hand caught in the doors between the hand where she was holding on and the doors, because she was standing up. I've had her fall over on the bus and the train before because she's got little legs and she's a bit Bambi. And yes, I do think children should respect their elders, but I do think they should be able to sit down on seats in buses and trains as well.
Diana, what was your take on this when you saw the pictures of the
When I saw those particular pictures, I would have agreed that they had booked the seats and therefore they could stay. But in general terms, no, I don't agree. I feel that a younger person should give up a seat for an older person. I've spent the whole of this week on long-distance train journeys, and I can tell you I've found myself in some bumpy positions. If you've got luggage, you get on a train, a busy train, you've got your luggage, you're trying to get down the aisle, you try to put a suitcase up there. I'm now over 80, it's quite difficult to do all that business. You've got somebody coming at you from the other way. I think when you've got all these children, and there have been lots of them because it's been half-term, that somebody should say, would you like to sit here, please?
Diana, I bet they don't do it to you because you do not look 80.
No.
You don't look 80, you look fit as a flea. No one would believe it.
But you see, people can look fit as a flea, but they can have a heart problem. They can have all sorts of things. It's respectful, I think, for a child to give up a seat for an older person.
I find that it's always mothers and children that are targeted. And no, there could be a young guy sitting there on a laptop or a young woman reading a book. It's never them that are asked to stand up. It's always the mothers and children or fathers and children that are asked to stand up to give up their seats for other people. And I don't think that's fair. I think, you know, across the board, if you see someone who looks able-bodied, maybe in the middle of the carriage, typing on a laptop or reading a book, you can ask them also. You shouldn't always have to target mothers and children and families.
Well, I feel that you can target a child because a child can temporarily sit on the mother's lap, for example, or stand in the aisle and the mother's got an arm around a child.
But the same way that you said elderly people might have medical conditions you don't know about, that can apply to children as well, children and teenagers across the board.
There would be less of those. There would be less of those, to be absolutely
It can be a very daunting place, I think, public transport. I mean, when I travel with my mum and dad, who are older but very fit and well, they call the station platform on big stations at the last minute. You're rushing round. If you haven't had a chance to reserve seats or you haven't been able to reserve seats, you know there's that one carriage youngsters are pushing past to get to that carriage. It can be a hustle and bustle, and isn't it part of teaching your youngsters respect to teach them that, hang on, you're going to be older one day, you're going to find it a struggle. While you've got your strong legs, jump up, let someone sit down.
I think it is all about respect, and you teach it to a young child from an early age.
What do you think? Do you think?
I think respect is due both ways. I definitely think we should teach our young children to respect their elders. Absolutely, absolutely, and I'd not disagree with that. But like I said, that guy that's sitting down with his laptop, he must have been taught that respect as well when he was younger. Why can't he stand up? And also, I think there's an element of we assume that young people don't have respect. We assume that they're badly behaved, but like the couple that you saw sitting in those people's seats, they didn't do themselves any favours. Like like you said. They didn't show respect to those young people, the fact that they'd paid their tickets. We assume that young people are disrespectful, but older people can be just the same.
It feels, Diana, that in this situation, that the way the older couple, and I don't know because we weren't there, but the way the older couple reacted to this didn't help at all, because I'm pretty sure Amanda, who posted, is 6 and a half months pregnant. She's got 3 children. She's concerned with making sure they're settled because they've got a long journey.
And not to disrupt everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely, because she'll be conscious of that too. But had the older couple said, look, we're really sorry, we sat down here, we can't stand up for the whole journey, we know you've reserved these seats, perhaps you could help us try and find some seats we could sit in, it would have been a lot more respectful, as Afua says, towards her and the rules on the train, which is if you've booked a seat, you have a right to that seat.
In this instance, I agree with you because they had booked. Now, for example, I've done this blooming journey this week, and one of the coaches was taken off. So all of us who had all those booked seats, we haven't got any seats. Yeah. Now we're stuck running around. This is when I was looking at all these kids on half-term thinking, come on, chum, I'm really, really tired. I've got this blooming suitcase. I can't leave the suitcase down at the end in the luggage rack, and I'm now up the other end looking for a seat. Surely a child could have given...
Do you think maybe we've muddled people, that people are almost nervous about offering a seat? Ben, very polite young man, you've offered seat to people before and they've been almost insulted by it,
indignant
haven't
that
they?
I've offered them the seat.
Why
do you feel like I need to sit down?
There is that aspect. I do know friends of mine, my sort of age, who are actually insulted, here we go again, when somebody does say, would you like a seat? But I have to tell you, at the end of all my journeying this week, I had come from King's Cross to Vauxhall, and I was struggling up the steps with this suitcase, and the most delicious young man, sort of city bloke, nicely dressed, madam, could I take your... God, I could have hugged him. Really, I said, you've absolutely made my day. So it's respect.
Look, we've had lots and lots of people getting in touch, and I think similarly, as we're all saying here, it comes down to respect. Everybody's saying must respect our elders. Gareth says always give up a place for someone who's older. SJ says I think you should always be respectful of the elders. Full stop. James says this is what I was taught was good manners. But absolutely all of them saying in this situation, the fact that the seats were reserved and the fact that the elderly couple refused to engage in any way other than flatly refused to move means that they all feel like Amanda was in the right to make a fuss about this, and it's the elderly couple that have let themselves down. They
have let themselves down, haven't they, by not talking and not being pleasant about it, because they were in the wrong because they hadn't booked seats.
And it's like
that's one issue.
Respect is due both ways. It has to be a two-way thing, and yes, we should respect our elders, but we can respect young people as well.
We've had a lot of comments saying, you know, we're talking about the launch of the British Legion appeal today. When I was young, you absolutely stood up for anybody from the older generation, not least because you knew they'd fought for your freedom. And maybe some of us who are older actually really feel that very strongly.
I think we still do.
Yeah, I think we still do.